Hello, Robert Chinnery here. I just wanted to comment about a couple of articles in the February the 27th Spectator, which is today. The topic here is illegal immigration and crossing of the borders at various points. I think it's in Quebec, Manitoba, and BC for examples of places that these people are crossing. They are then given some type of asylum that they wouldn't normally get when they're crossing the border legally. Um, to start off with a lighter subject, the politically correct language that is used by the Spectator to describe this type of activity by the people that are living in the States that want to immigrate to Canada illegally is called improper crossing. Well, that's very interesting. I don't believe that that would be what it would be called if you and I presented ourselves at the U.S. border with a suitcase and whatever we have with us. ID, no ID, whatever. And this article here goes on to talk about how they're going to be housed by several groups or several people. One of them is a church leader. I believe he's a reverend. And the other one is, I think that they're McMaster professors. I'm not really sure. I'd have to read the article again. Doesn't really matter. So they're willing to give up a room in their home as well. So, okay, so back to the original idea here. The immigration minister who was recently appointed by Mr. Trudeau is himself an immigrant and looks like he just wants to sit back on his hands and watch what's going to happen here. Now, while he does that, your internal security is probably being compromised. And there's nothing to do with the race of these people, their religion, or anything like that. I'm talking about people that are coming across the border. We don't know where they originally came from. We don't know if they've got papers or not. And they're being chased by the Homeland Security, which are doing their job, and going into the arms of the RCMP. So there's the juxtaposition between these two approaches. One is an open border, basically, and the other one is, well, we want to do our job. We want to keep these people in our country or regulate them somehow. I have no idea what Homeland Security does in detail. So we've got these people coming in here, and I should remind those individuals, and I've got to use the example of my own church. I'm a Catholic, and I used to go to the cathedral. So when I was at the midnight mass, the bishop stated a lot of nice things about, bringing refugees in, which is great. That's a good idea if he wants to sponsor them and so forth. Also, this minister today in the paper, and there's a couple of examples right there. Well, I'm just wondering, are all of the needs of the parishioners of the Catholic faith being met in Hamilton? Do they have access to proper food banks or assistance? Are all their needs covered before we decide to bring more people in? Unfortunately, we really haven't decided to bring them in. It's been the government that's brought them in. Again, we're at a position where our resources in Hamilton are being strained by people that are coming in. And if you want to make that a racist or Islamophobic thing, whatever you want, arrest me, go for it, because it's got nothing to do with inciting hatred or anything like that. It's economics and, the logistics of looking after the poor and the fact that there's only so many social services available. Now, there's been people that have been on housing lists for 6 to 8 years in Hamilton for Hamilton housing to have a more inexpensive place to live. That was even acknowledged by the former immigration minister. So it's nothing new to the government that the more people you bring in, the more people you've got to deal with, you've got to give resources to. And the fact is that the reality is that some of those resources may not be available to Canadians that are here. That's a simple fact. If you have 100 people waiting in line for something, and then you add another 100 there, you've got a 50% chance of getting resources. So, in my view, we should look at the problems that we have in this country first. This is a message to Justin Trudeau and his immigration minister and all of those people that don't want to stop these people coming in here illegally. Let's start looking after our problems first, and that's homelessness in Hamilton is a big problem. Housing is a problem. Feeding people that don't have enough food to eat is a problem. So when we've looked after all of those things and have a fully employed workforce, then I think that we could start bringing, people in here. But they really should have their security checked. Now, for sure, it's probably more likely that their security has been checked with them coming legally into the border, either on a plane or whatever, right? The government would be a part of that, checking their background if possible, and finding out, are they people that are going to harm people? Are they terrorists? Whatever. But if someone just walks across your border, that's suspicious as it is. Why are you doing that? Okay, so I welcome that minister, I forget his name, to bring in as many people and house them that he wants, that have flat out walked across our open border. And the best of luck to him and anybody else that opens up their household to someone that you don't know where they came from, you don't know their background, and there may be no way of verifying that since they've already gone through the U.S. system or whatever. I don't know if that's going to be checked. And, I've got an extra bedroom here, but if I'm going to give it away, it's going to be away to a Hamiltonian that needs a home, because I don't have to worry about that, do I? Thank you very much.